Hello everyone, Suman Pachigulla here, and in this video we are going to understand about what is a JavaScript developer, what is full stack JavaScript developer, and we are going to understand what is the difference between Java and JavaScript as well, because that is one of the confused things that majority of the recruiters come and fall in a situation that they think that JavaScript is related to Java and so on. All right, in this video we'll have a full clarity about what is JavaScript, what is Java, and how it is different and how it works, and what kind of string you are going to use, and who is that full stack Java developer, JavaScript developer that you are going to learn here. Okay, so let's continue and understand. And before that, let me tell you, this video is only for recruiters learning purpose only. Okay, and now what is a JavaScript? So here JavaScript is one of the dominant programming language in web development. Okay, so this particular scripting language is used to develop front end applications. This is front end pages. Okay, if we go a little bit more, this particular technology, this tool JavaScript is being used along with HTML, CSS to develop the website or front end. What is front end? Front end is the visual part of any website or any application. Now if you are using if you are using eBay, Amazon, Gmail, Facebook, anything that you see on the front side, right, front page, which helps the users to communicate or interact with the website, is called user interface, and that is being developed using these technologies and tools. And it's HTML, CSS, jQuery, JavaScript. These are all front end tools. Now what is Java and JavaScript? So now once you understand this, you will have much more clarity in screening the candidates or while you screen the resumes. All right, now what is Java? Java is an object-oriented programming language. So as C and C++, that then evolved Java, right? If you are from technical background, you know that, but still let me tell you, Java is object-oriented programming language. Just like .NET, we have a Python, and we have Ruby, so as C#. So this is one of those programming language which is used to build programs, write coding. So this is where we talk about writing coding. Now JavaScript is a platform independent. What is a platform independent, right? So platform independent means this Java application can run on any operating system. How is that possible? Because this is how it generally happens. So once the Java code is developed, then it is compiled, meaning generally when the coders, the developers write codes, they write according to the language that they understand. Now if this particular code has to let the machine work, then the machine should understand, the device should understand the language. That is where it comes in. So this Java code, that raw code what developer writes, it is compiled and it is called bytecode. All right, this is their terminology used in the development. So that is called bytecode, and now that code runs on all operating system. How will it work? So in every operating system there is a JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So now that JVM understands this particular bytecode, and it runs in there. Okay, so generally a program, when it is written in a language that human can understand, human readable language. All right, so meaning it will have words, it will have phrases, and it will have the syntaxes that machine may not understand that. So that is the reason this Java code is compiled to bytecode, and that has been understood by JVM. And every system in the RAM, JVM is currently available, and whatever the Java software we download online, that particular thing will be understood by the JVM and it runs in every operating system. All right, so that's how it works. And this Java is a compiling language, meaning it is compiled to make the system understand, the hardware understand, the computer understand, or the device understand. It's a compiled language, where JavaScript is an interpreted scripting language. So it is a scripting language and it is more of a software language. Okay, now what are the other differences? So here, while Java is used for all server-side development, meaning server is a backend development, and JavaScript used primarily, it is used for writing client-side scripts, meaning which is useful for the users to interact, all right, for a front-end development. And what else is there? So let's understand. So Java develops applications that can run in a browser or virtual machine, meaning if an application is there which is developed in Java that can run on browser, for example, whatever the browsers we have, right? Internet Explorer, we have Mozilla Firefox, we have Opera, we have Chrome, any browser. Okay, it can work on that browser. But here, which is made on JavaScript, okay, the application which is made or used through JavaScript, that can only runs on browsers, that won't run on any virtual machines. All right, so any application that is written in Java and that browser is available, that we can use in any particular operating system, meaning it can be accessed in Windows, then it is only works for Windows. For Unix it won't work. Okay, it has to have that particular language that should convert so that the system can understand in that particular operating system. All right, that's what the difference is. So here, before we end, Java is object-oriented programming and JavaScript is a language, and this is for building the back-end server-side thing, and JavaScript used for the front-end side. Now we go in deep. Then if it is used only for front-end, then why did there is a popularity of JavaScript developer? All right, so let's understand JavaScript developer or full-stack JavaScript developer. So once you understand what is full stack, then you could able to easily figure out what kind of person you need. All right, full stack means a person who can code or develop front end and the back end. All right, the same way a full stack JavaScript developer is a person who can develop both client side and server side software. Now what are the other differences? So here, along with HTML and CSS, the full stack JavaScript developer need to have deep knowledge of other tools as well. That's what differentiates a front-end developer to JavaScript developer. What are the other languages that a JavaScript developer has to have? So it starts with programming in a browser. So that person needs to have experience on browser programming, meaning experience on JavaScript, jQuery, Angular or Vue.js. So these are the tools used for browser programming, developing the software that can be run on browser. And along with that, program a server. This full stack JavaScript developer should know about backend work as well, meaning this person could be using Node.js. All right, we are going to understand what is Node.js. So you got JavaScript and jQuery and Angular, you know that has been used for front end, but what is Node.js? Is Node.js a programming language? No. Then what is that Node.js is? So you need to have a clarity on Node.js, because Node.js is being used in the backend, but this is not a framework, neither a scripting language. So Node.js is open source and cross-platform runtime environment for executing JavaScript code outside a browser, meaning it is Node.js is open source. Open source is, it is not paid. Anybody wants to download it, they can download, they can use it. Now cross-platform runtime environment. Runtime environment is, it facilitates the code to run in its environment, all right, for executing JavaScript code outside the browser. So generally JavaScript works within the browser. So if you see any HTTP and any URL that is there, and if any website is loading, primarily the JavaScript is written within that, and it gets executed in that web server. So now Node.js offers something that can run outside a browser. So that is what the beauty in it, and we're going to understand a little bit deep as we follow in this video. Now, as I told you, Node.js is not a framework and it is not a programming language. So it is used to build a backend service like APIs and web application or mobile application. So Node.js gives a platform for JavaScript to execute on it, and it does many other things. All right, this is not a smaller thing. This does many other things, but just understand that Node.js is not a scripting language, or it's not a programming language. It's not a framework. All right, it facilitates this JavaScript to operate in a better manner, and it has some other functionality as well. If you go deep into Node.js, you'll have more clarity. So here we are not discussing more about Node.js, but primarily focusing how Node.js can make a JavaScript developer use and make that person as a full stack JavaScript developer. So here how it was working prior to Node.js then. Okay, so when Node.js introduced, meaning Node.js is used in the backend connectivity, to work on the server side. Now prior to that, how the JavaScript codes were executed in the browser side. So now how it was working is, every browser has a JavaScript engine. What is JavaScript engine is the same way how we understood, right? Java code, then it gets compiled and it gets created something that can be understood by the machine. The same way JavaScript engine converts that general JavaScript language, that's something human understands, and this JavaScript engine converts that human language to the machine language, then it gets it executed in the backend. So if we go deep and understand what is the JavaScript engine, for Internet Explorer, they used Chakra as JavaScript engine. Every browser has a JavaScript engine. If there is no JavaScript engine, the website will not load. Simple, it cannot translate that general code to the machine learning language, all right, machine language. The same way, SpiderMonkey is the JavaScript engine for Firefox, and for Chrome they have V8. So that is where the fun part is. V8 is the JavaScript engine for Chrome, and now it became so much popular now, and it is giving so much of functionality and what we would say, there's a user-friendly thing that so many companies are using now Node.js. All right, so here if we go a little bit deep, now what is that we understood so far about JavaScript developer that this person should know about? JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, AngularJS, Vue.js for browser programming. For server side, this person should be knowledgeable with Node.js, and for programming, this person should be experienced with MongoDB. Now, what is a MongoDB? Just to give you some information, MongoDB is a NoSQL. It's a NoSQL database, meaning MongoDB do not use SQL as a query language to query its data to showcase outside. Okay, so what is the difference between NoSQL and SQL is, it is like relational and non-relational databases. So Oracle, SQL Server, PL SQL, those are MySQL, those are SQL and relational databases, meaning those databases store data in rows and columns. All right, and there SQL is being used as a query language. Now in MongoDB, in any database that is NoSQL database, what is this database is, so it stores data in JSON files. It stores data in JSON files, and it is not restricted only to store data according to rows and columns. So it is like unstructured. All right, it will stores data unstructured manner, and it gives more feasibility for storing different types of data. And we are not going deep in that, and I'm going to create more videos for these sort of databases. So you just need to understand that JavaScript developer should have a knowledge with MongoDB or any NoSQL. So along with that, what are the other skills these people use? All right, and you can use those skills, those tools as your keywords. Okay, if you're getting a JavaScript developer, you need to understand that this person should be experienced with the front-end tools like HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, W3 CSS, JavaScript, obviously, ES5, HTML DOM, JSON, XML, jQuery, everything or any of these, what according to the client. But here I'm trying to cover everything that is a front-end tool. All right, along with that, AngularJS, React.js, Backbone, Ember.js, Redux, Storybook, GraphQL, Meteor.js, Grunt, Gulp, these are also different types of front-end tools. So now, as we spoke about full stack JavaScript developer, it means along with the front end, this person should have experience with backend as well, meaning Node.js, Express.js, Ruby, REST, Go, SQL, MongoDB, Firebase.com. All right, these are the backend tools, server-side tools. Along with that, it has SASS, LESS, Parse.com, PaaS, platform as a service like Azure or Heroku, any of the platform that has been provided to develop the application there in the cloud. So now if we are talking about SASS or LESS, so this is like advanced version of CSS, cascading style sheet. So it's like a more superpower. All right. So this is also required for a JavaScript developers. Now you got to understand that when we are talking about backend tools, we are not talking about PHP, ASP.NET, C#, Java, C++, C. We are not talking about that, because this is primarily focused on web development and front-end back-end connectivity. All right, so now you do not have to add Java, C#, PHP, Python, C++ to this string whenever you're building a string for that, but you can add any of these. So let's understand a job description. What could be a job description for a JavaScript developer? So here is what the duty is generally. All right, I pulled it from some example and I'm going to show that to you. Let me take it here. Yes. All right, let me keep it here. So here, develop and enhance our main front-end platform website. All right, this is for a website. They're looking for a JavaScript developer. Develop new user-facing features, meaning to develop some sort of features for required for new users. Now, design and develop new front-end application for various platform, help out with front-end work on other applications, meaning they're looking for something to build front-end and they want to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript in a Ruby application. So backend is Ruby. You remember this? Ruby, that is the backend one. All right. And develop specifications and design for complex application or modify maintaining complex existing applications. Perform code analysis, requirement analysis, identification of code metrics, system risk analysis, and software reliability analysis. So this person needs to understand whether the code, once the application is been developed, will it work on different softwares and everything. This person has to do that test as well. Now, perform tuning, improvement, balancing, usability and automation. So this is also required to check how that particular application is working. And along with it, if we look for need, right, skills, how would generally a JavaScript developer requirement look like? So it will look like, okay, X number of years experience in web technologies, meaning front end. See, here they have not asked anything about Java, .NET, C#, anything. They are just looking for primarily hands-on real-time experience with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So generally everybody will have this. And what differentiates general front-end developer to the JavaScript developer is the back-end experience, and that comes in here. All right, that's what we are going to understand. Now this is about education. Full stack web development experience, meaning front end of the website and back end of the website. Expert knowledge on JavaScript with strong understanding of JavaScript fundamentals. All right, these are the JavaScript fundamentals. Now experience with a responsive design, meaning the design which is responsive. It is not a static, but it has to be dynamic or responsive for desktop and mobile applications. And extensive, meaning real-time, core, hands-on, extensive experience with HTML, CSS, Ajax, JavaScript, and along with jQuery, Backbone.js, Angular, and Ember. All right, these coding experience also required. You see, CSS compiler language we just discussed, right? That SASS and LESS. That's what they are looking for. Meaning they are looking for CSS compiler language, more advanced language, this one. So they're looking for SAS or less. Experience with other JavaScript libraries like Extension.js, Backbone, Angular, Node.js and other frameworks. So Node.js by default there will be there if you are working with a backend JavaScript developer. And they're looking for which methodologies this particular software development will going to be. So they are looking for someone who could work on agile environment, right? So now this is what it is to understand about JavaScript developer. So before you go and search and build your string, it is very much important that you understand the requirement thoroughly, understand the responsibility, understand the meaning, and go and use those to build your string. All right, so without understanding any requirement, do not jump in building strings and end up being confused at what questions you are going to ask or how to screen a resume. All right, now let me know how did you find this video. If it is helpful, let me know and I would be happy to get more of your reviews on that. All right, I'm coming with more videos for you. So till the time, take care and God bless. Bye-bye.